Trump shuttle had already lost $128 million.
New York's Attorney General says Trump University swindled students.
Former CEO says, we literally sold almost no stakes.
His Truth Social stock has plummeted by 20%.
They think he's the worst. Weird,
twisted, creepy, authoritarian.
A net negative favorable rating, making history in the completely wrong way.
JD Vance, American Vice President. Let's see.
Okay.
I wanted to start with that hilarious new ad from the VP Harris campaign in anticipation of tonight's debate between Governor Tim Walz and JD Vance, because it perfectly sums up how everyone views JD Vance in this race, including Donald Trump. He is one of the biggest mistakes in presidential campaign history, and that has played out over and over again on the campaign trail. Not just JD Vance's words or actions, but his beliefs coming back to bite him and Trump over and over and over again. And one of the worst examples of how JD Vance could be screwing Donald Trump, and kind of already, comes tonight with this debate, because Republicans are already trying to push back against the fact that they know JD Vance will lose. They know it'll be just another humiliating debate for the Trump-Vance ticket, and it will pressure Donald Trump into doing something he certainly doesn't want to and would be devastating to his campaign. And we are going to get into all of that. Before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting what we are doing now. Like I said, I am not the only one who believes that JD Vance was a complete mistake, and there are few Republicans really willing to defend him, but one of the worst, a terrible Trump stow. And Tom Emmer tried to today, and he gets some serious pushback from some hosts that just weren't having it. So before we get into the JD Vance of it all, let's check out this clip.
Congressman, if you're going to talk about favorability and likability, I mean, JD Vance is coming in with some of the worst polling numbers in terms of whether people like him or not. If he is very prosecutorial, very lawyerly, as you're suggesting in this debate tonight, does that win for him in terms of likability and whether people will vote for him?
I think the polling that you're talking about is because people have not been introduced to Tim Walz. He's just recently been installed.
These are JD Vance's numbers.
Well, but hear me out.
Polling shows just how popular Governor Tim Walz is. In the contrast of the historic unpopularity of JD Vance, it just goes to show how terrible of a candidate he is. And there's nothing that Tom Emmer can do to lie about that or try to cover it up, try to fix the situation. And like I said, I can anticipate, because I made this prediction with the Trump debate, and it certainly played out, that this will be just as bad for JD Vance. And when that happens, when JD Vance gets the floor mopped with him, it's going to put him in a pretty difficult position for not just him, but for Donald Trump as well. And that was talked about by former Trump advisor and current Trump Esto Kellyanne Conway. And I think it gives a lot of great context on this development.
I asked President Trump today, I interviewed for an hour. I said to him, the guy I know, you, is not going to be able to sit still after a 90-minute VP debate and let that be the last word in presidential debates. You're going to say, well, when's our next one? And I hope he does that. I hope the door
you think there's
open.
going to be another debate with Harris?
He had said no, but he didn't say totally no. That October 23rd one with CNN's too late. But why not get back in there? Trump's like, I told him, you're like Shohei Ohtani. You're pitching, you're batting. You've done 7 of them. She's 1 for 1. Big deal. But look, the other thing he told me today is he doesn't feel safe.
Kellyanne is saying what I have been predicting for a long time, and I don't like to agree with Kellyanne Conway, but considering how this would play out if we were both right, I kind of do want to agree with her here. I'm almost happy to. I think Donald Trump is already feeling the pressure of this debate between JD Vance and Governor Wallace tonight, and it's starting to make him think, do I really want JD out there representing us? He has already failed me so much. Will this be a disaster? Is this the last word I want spoken on a debate stage in this campaign? And I think the answer is no. I think the answer is increasingly no. And I think that Donald Trump's insecurities are being preyed on in the best possible ways by the VP Harris campaign, trolling Donald Trump and pushing him to debate again, which again would be an absolute absolute catastrophe for him. And so JD Vance's own struggles are just making it all that more difficult for Donald Trump, and VP Harris and her team are seizing on that with some incredible trolling that I want to check out right here. Team Harris kicks off debate with epic trolls of Trump and JD Vance. The DNC is apparently trying to go Trump resurrecting old pranks against the Republican presidential nominee just hours before the vice presidential pick. JD Vance is scheduled to go toe-to-toe against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. On Monday night, the Liberal Party projected a series of biting taglines on a panel outside Trump's New York City residence on Fifth Avenue. Trump is a chicken, the projection read. The projection reportedly appeared just hours after Vance arrived at Trump Tower for the debate, which will take place on Tuesday night without an audience at CBS Broadcast Center in Manhattan. Some of the other jabs flashed to the projection included a reference to Vance's old tweets, including one in which he referred to Trump as an idiot, in stabs at Trump's ongoing affinity for Project 2025. Vance on Trump, what an idiot. The signage said Democrats did something similar in August, branding Trump Tower in Chicago with giant messages during the DNC. Those phrases included Trump fans out for themselves, as well as Trump fans weird as hell. Harris Walz fighting for you in Project 2025 HQ. But Monday night's prank has a different objective than simply trolling the Republican ticket. Instead, it's transparent bait for Trump, who has flat out rejected the idea of debating Vice President Harris again after his first performance against CH turned unbelievably sour, frustrating his team allies and donors as Vance takes the debate stage in an attempt to make up for Trump's own lackluster debate performance. These projections on Trump Tower NYC are a reminder that Trump and Vance are out for themselves, while Trump remains afraid to go back on that debate stage and be held accountable by Vice President Harris for his failed record and his dangerous agenda. Donald Trump is being called out. Donald Trump is being mocked, and Donald Trump is being goaded into a second debate with Vice President Harris JD Vance. And the expectations that he will fail, which are going to come true, are screwing Donald Trump. Once again, there's nothing that JD can do that doesn't get in Donald Trump's way. I absolutely love it. But you can see the panic set in Donald Trump already as he took the Truth Social today, so shaken up, so rattled, trying to defend himself and Vance. And it really just backfired with this post. Right here, Trump wrote on Truth Social, "We are crime fighters. They, Kamala and Joe, are crime creators. Donald, aren't you a convicted felon? That sounds like crime creation to me." And by the way, if we're just talking about crime in the country, which actually you have contributed to, so if anyone were to say crime is up, I'd say former president. Crime is up because of Donald Trump, but the rest of the crime statistics, they're down, and they were up under you. And again, this panic is really setting. And Donald Trump, and we talked about this, Donald Trump's interview with Kellyanne Conway, in which he shared his thoughts on how he thought the debate was going to go. And it's not positive for JD Vance.
I know you, and I just believe when you see the end of that debate, are you going to let that be the last word of presidential debates of this season, end of your career, or are you going to want one more?
I would love to have 2 or 3 more debates. I like it. I enjoy it. But they're so rigged and so stacked. You'll see it tomorrow with JD. It'll be stacked. He's going up against a moron, a total moron. How she picked him is unbelievable. And I think it's a big factor. There's something wrong with that guy. He's sick. There's never been a time in our country where people want to change so badly.
Now, of course, Trump wants to say that he doesn't think Vance will perform well in the debate because it's rigged, but we know the real reason. Because he knows JD Vance is a loser. He knows JD is a failure. And he knows that JD Vance is hurting his own campaign. And so, again, I think that Vance is going to cause Donald Trump to take a second debate, something that I'd absolutely love, and hurt himself even more. And that would just be such an incredible thing to see, because JD Vance has just already caused so many problems for the Trump campaign. One more would be a cherry on top. And speaking of all those problems that JD Vance has caused, I think we need to check out this great ad from the Lincoln Project as just a closer wrap-up of all that JD Vance has done that is so terrible.
Tonight's vice presidential debate is about the truth. Vance will lie over and over to protect Donald Trump. He'll lie about his plans to use the federal government to take away the rights of women, to track them, monitor them, and even prosecute them. He'll lie about wanting women to stay trapped in violent marriages. He'll lie that he once called Donald Trump Hitler and cultural heroin. Lie that he was once an outspoken never-Trumper.
I'm a never-Trump guy. I never liked him.
Lie about his support for Project 2025.
Project 2025 is not affiliated with the Trump campaign.
And its dangerous plans for America. And of course, lie about Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. About who they are, what they stand for, and what their plans for America are. Tonight, JD Vance will show he's just one more dishonest con man in Trump's campaign of lies. And that's the truth.
This is a guy we know we can't trust running with a serial liar, a pathological liar. This is the LIE ticket, and we're not getting on board with that. We are getting on board with joy. We are getting on board with a vision for the future. We're getting on board with VP Harris and Tim Walz, and we're going to be talking about that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.